Here we go. Let's do this.
We've got one life, one shot. Who do you want to be? What do you want to do? Addicted to Betterment, a podcast to inspire us to keep going, to try something new, to dream, to think big, bigger, to overcome. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
What are you making excuses for? What is it? Several months ago, I was with my friend and colleague, Danny Z. Danny, thank you for joining us today. And I'm going to introduce you a little bit more here, but I'll take it back before Danny made this statement. David, I'm done making excuses. I'll go back to when I got introduced to Danny. My friend Chad Peterman had introduced me to Danny, and it was interesting because when Chad was talking about Danny, one of the things that he said was just, how exceptional he was at what he does. As a natural skeptic, I'm, is he really that great? But as it turns out, he is even better than advertised. But as I got introduced to, began to learn and become familiar with Danny, understanding that excellence and commitment to being great is part of who he is at what he does. And I got to witness that every single day, that being great at what he does was just part of his DNA. Fast forward to the day when Danny made this statement to me, David, I am done making excuses for my health. We're going to talk about Danny's journey to 75 Hard today. Danny Zatarain, thank you so much for joining us today, man. I am excited to dive into this conversation with you today about your journey with 75 Hard.
Dude, thanks for having me. It's good to talk to you too. It's good to see you. Thanks for asking me to talk to you through this process here. So I appreciate you giving me the chance to share.
Well, friends, for all of those who know Danny well and work alongside him or collaborate with him in some fashion or another, his smooth, sexy voice, if it lures you to sleep on this episode, please turn up the volume or drink a Red Bull or something, because we get this a lot. So,
oh no.
So Danny, man, today is your last day of 75 Hard. Congratulations, my friend.
Yeah. Thank you. It's definitely, it's been challenging for sure.
Yeah. What's your emotions this morning? I mean, today's the last day. How you feeling?
I was going to say, I woke up this morning and I had the best workout because it just like, I don't know. I was just really excited to finish this thing strong, as opposed to maybe tired or worn out. I just wanted to finish it strong instead.
I thought for sure you were going to tell me you woke up this morning and had a box of Pop-Tarts or something.
No, not quite. That's tomorrow morning. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that.
Oh man. I've got to be alongside you, and witness this journey from day one. And I can imagine that it's been a challenge. And so today, congratulations, my friend. Congratulations. Today's the last day of 75 Hard, and I know you, and I know you're going to kill it today. Now, I don't know what tomorrow is going to look like, but congratulations on today, man. Danny, I'm just going to dive right in. As you know, I'm not great at small talk, and I'm excited to talk about this journey. So as I said before, you're the best that I have ever seen in many at what you do, and your commitment to preparation, your commitment to being great is second to none. And so for someone like yourself, who many of us can relate to, it's like, oh no, I'm doing great in a lot of areas of life, for you to say, here's an area that I've been making excuses and I'm done. What was the process? What was the journey of becoming aware that, man, I'm making excuses in this area? What did that look like?
Heck yeah. I'm not sure that I can pinpoint to a very exact moment. Maybe the decision making was probably an exact moment, but I think that, I've struggled with weight for as long as I can remember. And there was one point in my life where, when I started coaching, where I really took my health very seriously, and I lost like 75, 80 pounds almost. And then I stopped, and then I quit, and then I backtracked and gained some weight when I moved here to Indianapolis. And I knew it, and I'd known it for a long time. But I think it was when I started coaching remotely for our Can't Stop the Growth team members that I realized that I'm coaching people on their mindset and their growth. And there are areas in my life that I can't coach myself, that I can't grow myself. And how can I challenge other people's mindsets and coach other people if I can't coach myself. And so I think that built up over time for a couple of months until I went to visit my friend Wayne, Ireland, in Kentucky. That was at the beginning of August. And there was, Jeanette took some pictures, my girlfriend, and she, shared them with me. And when I looked at those pictures, I hated what I was seeing. I didn't see a disciplined, strong, mindful, respectful coach. I didn't see that. And not just that, I felt so tired. I felt tired being out in the field and teaching, and I didn't feel like I was showing up as my very best self. And I think when I was on my way back from visiting my friends over there in Kentucky, I realized that something really had to change if I was going to continue to do this and feel good about coaching other people, right? And so I think that's what it was.
What a powerful statement you made when you said Jeanette had taken some pictures, and when I saw them, I hated what I was seeing. Man, what a power. I think we can all relate to that in some area of our life, of looking at a picture of some version of our life and being disgusted by what we see of ourselves. So when you made that statement to me, David, I'm making excuses, which indicates that there was thought, there was some awareness, but there was a journey of, I'll put it off. Or when you say, David, I'm done making excuses, indicates to me that, hey, there was thought around it, but I'm not doing it right now. What were those excuses in your head that you've been making?
I think that, there was, I can specifically remember getting back from Kentucky. I was there the 12th, 13th, 14th. I started 75 hard on the 17th. There was like 2 or 3 days there that I knew I needed to do something, and I wasn't sure what to do. My brother-in-law and my sister had just finished 75 hard. And so they shared that with me, and they saw that, they shared some pictures and before and after. And I was like, oh man, that sounds like something I need to do. And then as I thought about the 75 days, I was like, that's absolutely ridiculous. I'm setting myself up for failure. Why am I going to? So I went back and forth. And I think the excuses that I made for myself were probably the excuses that we all make for ourselves. Like, for example, I'm really busy. I don't have time. I worked really hard today. I'm tired today. I'll get really serious on Monday, right? Like I'm just going to give myself a couple of more days. The classic trap of, I'm doing better than most people, right? I mean, at least I'm not 250 pounds like I was before, right? That's a really solid excuse that can, drag on for a little while. And I think that's a big trap there, right? Because sometimes we tend to compare ourselves with other people or see somebody else's path and say, well, maybe that's not my path, right? My path is a little bit different. But I think that'll keep us trapped in a world of excuses that, well, I don't have the time that this other person has, or I don't have. And the reality is, I think we all have the same 24 hours, right? And we got to decide how we're going to use those. But yeah, I think the excuses were the same.
Man, that's that comparison journey of, both ways. Well, this person's so fit and all the things. I'm not that. And I think we do that in every area of life, right? Would you agree that, at the end of the day, whether it's business owners, you and I talk to business owners every single day. And it's when there's a lack of awareness, what I hear a lot is, the guy who did the $100 million, that's not, I don't want to do that. There's all these reasons why. And then it's, yeah, but I'm doing a little bit better than that guy. It's the comparison of others. Wow. That's well said. How aware were you before you made, I'll call it the decision? I feel like we're almost talking about like that LeBron James moment, where he's sitting on the decision, but anyway, before you made the decision to say, I'm done, how aware were you of the gap between who you wanted to be and how you were acting?
Highly aware, especially spending time with high caliber people like the clients that we work with, the business owners that we work with, spending time with people like you, with people like Chad Peterman, right? I think the difference there, the thing that really that I continue to become more and more aware of, was the lack of self-respect that I had for myself. That was the thing that really, I think that was the thing that pushed me over the edge and saying, no, you know what? I'm done making excuses. There are people that have busier schedules than me that still respect themselves enough to eat healthy, to take care of their bodies, and to be disciplined in their mindset. And it's time for me to do that too.
Wow. The power of who you surround yourself with. You that what you just said, and then you just mentioned previously that your brother and sister-in-law, I think, is who you said had just finished 75 hard. I was like, man, you can either surround yourself with people who just keep you stuck in those same habits and say, oh no, it's okay. Help you make the excuses, or the people who, what you just described was silently hold you accountable, silently inspire you, not by, pointing fingers and telling you, hey, you need to lose weight, or hey, you need to get in the gym, but by living by example, doing their thing and committing to excellence. Well said. So, okay. You said, David, I'm done making excuses for my health. What did that decision mean to you when you said, I'm going to do 75 hard? Like, how big was this commitment when you made it? That's a pretty healthy commitment, by the way. I mean, some people say, I'm going to go this week and I'm going to eat healthy. Like, I'll use myself. It's hey, I'm going to eat healthy from today until Saturday. And then Saturday, you didn't do any of that. You said, I'm jumping off the cliff, all in, head first. I'm going 75 hard. Why?
I think that's the only way that it works for me. I think that I know we've talked about my past some, and I had, drug addiction in my past, and that's how I overcame drug addiction. It was a decision of like, I am going to do the absolute opposite of what I do right now, because clearly the thing that I've been doing is not working. So I'm going to do everything that is opposite, knowing that it's going to be really uncomfortable because it's completely the opposite of what I do. And so I knew that was the only way, right? That it was just a matter of waking up, and even if I didn't have a different mindset when I woke up, doing things differently. Like one thing I talk to my teams about a lot, and my technicians that I trained, is that there's only two ways to go about changing things, right? Number one is you change your beliefs and your mindset, and then that leads you to act in a different way. But sometimes you can't. Sometimes you can't change your mindset. Sometimes your mind is not saying, yeah, it's okay. You're going to be fine if you quit drugs. You don't need them in your life. You're going to be fine if you work out every day. Your mind doesn't say that. So sometimes you just have to act your way into new thinking. Those are the only two ways. You either change your beliefs and change your actions, or you just act your way into new thinking. And that's what's worked for me. Anytime I'm struggling with my mindset or what I'm thinking or what I believe, I just act different and put myself there. And so that's what it was. It was actually on a Sunday, I think the 17th, where I was watching church. And I was watching Stephen Furtick deliver a message, and he's always very moving to me. He talked about the idea that, which is not a new idea, but that he talked about service, right? And it really spoke to me because, well, I try to live a life of service to other people, and I feel like that's the thing that keeps me sober. And he said something, and it was like, hey, what is it that is getting in the way of you doing the service that God has called you to do? And I'm like, I immediately answered that in my mind while I was watching that, and I said, it's my weight. It's my physical health that is getting in the way. It's not that I don't want to, it's just that I'm not doing it. So yeah, that Sunday I decided, okay, like that's it. If I keep thinking about it, I'm not going to do it. So I'm done thinking about it, and it's time to do. I think there's a point in time where you can think and think and think all of the scenarios through, but I think there's a time where you just stop thinking and you just go do it.
Take action. Yeah, I feel like this episode could be 5 hours long because there's so much I want to talk about that. And it's so great because, you are the best in the world at helping others get out of their comfort zone and achieve something, do it different, and that's what you do every day. And we have stories that are profound that move us both emotionally, of people who said, okay, I'm going to get out of my comfort zone and I'm going to do it. And yet you struggled during that time of doing that yourself. What watching this journey has challenged me on is, what areas am I making excuses for? Because it's easy to justify it with all the things you're doing great. Oh man, I'm doing this. And in those moments where you're holding yourself accountable, I'm speaking for myself here, where it's like, but hey, look, you're doing this great. It's okay. And so I think it was so profound to me that, here's a guy who is, I mean, by many accounts, the best at helping others, inspiring, encouraging, and educating others on how to get out of their comfort zone, how to take action, how to do something different, how to overcome all the head trash, all the stuff. And here you are struggling with it. So you make the commitment. That's great. So that was really the profound thing for me. Secondly was, you had said you were doing 75 hard. Yay, good job, man. Many of us have started 75 hard. Notice I said started because it's like, I'm fired up, I'm motivated, I'm doing this. To your point, that Sunday, you're like, I am done making excuses. I'm sick of my health. I hated what I was seeing in the mirror. I'm doing it. Well, that's just the start. Fast forward a few days later, you, myself, others were at an awesome place with, cocktails and pizza. And I remember this was just a very short few days after that. And I'm in a great place. I'm hanging out with some of my favorite people. And I was sitting next to our friend Chad, and we had a big pizza in front of us. And I just ordered an old fashioned, and he had a beer or something. And I said, Danny, sit down, come on, grab a cocktail and a piece of pizza. And that moment when you said, no, I can't, I'm going to go home and work out. I'm grabbing some water, and you stood around and talked for a while, drinking water, which was dumb in my mind. Cause I'm like, bro, are you kidding? This pizza's awesome.
We're having a good time, right?
Yeah. And so that's when I realized this cat's serious. This brother means business on he made that commitment. He's serious. So that was a big thing to me. But you started. What was that like when you started? Now you're doing something that's not just slightly different. Like we say, hey, just make 1% change. This isn't 1% change. This is like flipping the script. I'm going the other direction. What was that like?
The first week was great. I was excited. I was pumped. I was, the excitement of starting something new, telling my friends, right? It's like, hey, hold me accountable. Now I'm not going to lie. The only time I've ever wanted to punch you in the face was when you told me to have some pizza and have a drink, because that pizza smelled so good. I mean, it looked and smelled so good. And that old fashioned was, I'm an old fashioned kind of guy. So, that was hard. It definitely, the temptations that were there, but I think it was like, like week 2 and week 3, when it's like, I'm nowhere near the end, but that excitement and motivation has faded now. And now waking up at 4:30 in the morning is not sexy. Especially when I went to bed at, 10 o'clock last night, or I had a really long day at work. So that became very challenging, because then the 75th day looks so far out. And now it was kind of like you said, it wasn't like I was picking up a habit. I was literally flipping my entire life around these things that I had to accomplish every day. Like my life had to be scheduled around those. Dude, I gotta say, the most important part though, or the mindset shift for me regarding the consistency, is that for once, I was actually putting myself first every day. I do a lot of work for other people, and I love it. I would never want to do anything different. It fills my heart when I am of service to someone else. That is 100% my calling. But I didn't understand, and I don't think it had clicked in my mind, that I had to respect myself and love myself and support myself and coach myself first before I could do it for everyone else. And so now my days, for the first time, I was saying no to meetings. And for the first time, I was saying no to going and hanging out in the evening, because I had a work out that I needed to do, and I didn't want to put myself in a place where I was going to be tempted to drink, right? And I'm a yes man, so that was really hard for me. I always say yes, and can we talk, or can we get together, or can we whatever? And for the last 75 days, I just learned to put myself first, and I have been so much more impactful than I ever was just focusing on everyone else in this last 75 days. It's crazy.
Wow, man. Is that something you had struggled to do when you say put myself first? Like, and I love that you use the word respect yourself, because it's very different than being selfish and not caring about others and say, I want to take care of me. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about, I respect myself enough to do the things I would encourage my kid, my wife, my friend to do. I'm actually respecting myself enough to follow through on the things that I would coach others to do. Is that something you had struggled with before?
100%. But I didn't know. I didn't know that I struggled with it as much as I did until I decided to do 75 hard. All of the decisions and the mindset that I had before didn't fit anymore. Just saying yes to everyone, and then I guess like working through my lunch, right? Working through all of those things that are good, that we think are good, right? The sacrificial of like, let's go above and beyond with work. I'm not saying don't. I'm just saying you have to work all of that around you, not the other way around. And I think that just been something that I had seen in a completely different light before, in a way that was positive, and it really wasn't. But when I put myself first, I all of a sudden had so much more to give.
It's crazy how you just articulated that, that we think it's a flex. Like we think it's making ourselves feel good. Like, you just described, like I'm working through lunch. I'm working late. I'm doing a thing. And at the end of the day, it's not. It's actually dumb. You take care of your body, take care of your health, take care of your mind, your heart, your soul, those sorts of things. But I love what you said, that, man, when I started doing that, the version of me that now is serving is significantly better than the version that's making excuses and flexing on working through lunch and that sort of thing. I wanted to talk for a second about what you just said. If we can talk about this and really get this out there. Many of us make decisions. Many of us, in the moment when we're fired up, whether it's business, let's talk about business. We work with business owners every day. What happens, and we see this all the time. Somebody's fired up, they're motivated, they want to change, they have a vision, they hate where they're at now. The similar to you looking in the mirror and hating what we see. I'm like, man, I got to make these changes. And they get fired up and they make the change. They do the thing. They sign the deal. They do whatever. And they're like, let's go. And then when that motivation and that excitement wears off, now it's like, ugh, you know what? It's so much easier then to be like, yeah, let's go back to my old stuff. This isn't, we all do that. I've done it. Listen, I've done 25 hard. I've done 20 hard. I've done 14 hard, and it's because of that. It's because when that motivation wears off and then the phone call comes, it's like, hey, DG, we're doing the thing. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Let's go. I'll start a little later. It's that motivation, that excitement. What were some of the things that you did during that time? What were some of the things that helped you stay the course and push toward what you committed to?
I told people. That's what I did. It is, my mom literally told me, she used to be a secretary in Mexico for AA, right? And she said, one of the most important things you can do, Danny, she said, is tell everyone what you're doing. Now, most people want to keep things to themselves. When it comes to business, sure. When it comes to other things, yes. When it comes to accountability, though, Mom said, best thing you can do right now, you're not going to feel like it, just tell everybody. And so I would. When I had, 70 people on the Monday morning service meeting, I told every one of them, and I said, make sure to hold me accountable. Ask me next week if I did that so that I can be embarrassed if I didn't. I hate the idea of using embarrassment or, negativity as that. But to me, it was more of, along with self-respect, it was about respecting the people that I served. Now that I know that I can serve them better if I take care of myself, it would be an absolute disservice and a direct, I don't know, I guess, you see where I'm going with that, right? Like it would directly be not caring about the people that I serve. And here's why. My brother Max, who facilitates and moderates my trainings on Zoom, one morning, it was on a Wednesday morning. Wednesdays are really early mornings for me because I do training at 7 a.m. So that's like a 4 a.m. day for me, right? If I'm going to do my workout in the morning. So it was like week 3, maybe week 4. And I woke up on Wednesday and I was like, nah, I'm just going to do it after. So I didn't. I still did my training and I still did the 2 workouts, but I didn't do my morning workout before training. So I went in and did training, and Max called me immediately after training and said, Danny, brother, everything good? I was like, yeah, man, what are you talking about? He was like, I don't know. He was like, did you get your workout in this morning? I was like, no, actually, I figured I'd get it in the afternoon because I woke up late. And he was like, bro, I could tell. I'm like, no, you could not. You're full of shit. And he was like, no, I could tell your training was different. Your demeanor, your patience, the way you communicated, your clarity, that was all different. I was like, you're kidding. He was like, dude, I wouldn't tell you if it wasn't like, I just really like, I'm gonna hold you accountable because you do different training when you do that. And of course, I don't see that, right? I'm not like watching my recordings and stuff like that. But when he said that, that made it to where like failing this process, not taking care of myself was no longer an option because now it was affecting, and now I knew that it was affecting the people that I served. And so that probably was one of the strongest factors and motivators to continuing to do that.
Man, talk about redefining what it means to serve others, what it means to love and respect others. It's like, wait, I can't actually say that I'm serving others at my best. I'm giving my best. I can't say that I really care about giving them the best version of me if I'm not willing to do this work. Wow. That's raising the bar there, man. That's raising the bar. As you describe that and you talk about that moment with Max, how did your environment, your friends, your family, the people you work with, those kinds of things, how did that change and shift as you continue to follow through on your commitment?
I think that there is the transformation was so much less physical than it was mental, right? But even with my friends and my family, I mean the relationship, the conversations that we had were different. The team, of course, here at Peterman was super encouraging all the time. And as they went through, it's like one of the things I kept hearing is like, dude, you look great, but you sound even better. Like you look happier. You look refreshed. You don't look tired. You look like you're just thriving. And that felt good, right? Knowing that I was still on the right track, even if I was feeling tired or a little bit overwhelmed, they were seeing me in a different way now. And that helped me to see myself in a different way as well. So I think that having the right people, and I am so blessed and so lucky to have people in my life like you. Chad, I remember Chad coming into my office and I had my big gallon of water and he was like, how's it going? And I'm like, dude, this water is killing me. And Chad looked at me and he said, Danny, it's that gallon of water. You need to get a smaller one and fill it up and then drink it. And I was like, that makes sense. And he was like, yeah, man, that you're going to have such a hard time trying to drink that gallon. It's like you're drinking and it doesn't feel like you're doing anything. You need to chunk it up. I was like, I was mind blown with that. It was such a silly, small concept, right? But having Chad, having my sister and my brother-in-law, right? It's like, dude, the last 2 weeks are going to be hard. Watch out for that. Having Antonio and Zach here at Peterman, and Wes talk about that I look different and I felt different. Dude, I couldn't have done it without them and without you guys and with the encouragement that Jeanette literally taking care of. I don't think I even thought about my diet the entire 75 days. Dude, I'm so lucky to have somebody like her that just, because she knows, I have ideas and I have things and I change my mind and I'm very quick and she's very, harmony, peace. Let's, take our time. And so just being able to get home and she's like, hey, I know this is not your favorite, but it's healthy and you're going to like it. And I made this. And then the next day it's like, now I made this one and this is new for you, but you're going to like it. And so made it really easy to follow her diet and to just have her bring those things to me that I didn't have to think about. To be honest, I felt like I was cheating a little bit because I didn't have to think about it. Right. But to your point, though, the people around you are going to make or break any initiatives that you have and any plans that you set yourself out to things to accomplish, right?
At what time do you remember a time where it became about something deeper than just the physical activity 75 hard?
Yes. The pictures, the progress pictures. Really, it started because I saw a picture of myself that I hated. And not going to lie, David, aside from the damn water, surprisingly, the alcohol wasn't, I've really enjoyed not drinking alcohol. I was telling Jeanette, I was like, babe, I don't think I'm going to go back to drinking alcohol. I mean, if anything, maybe a special occasion or a holiday here and there, but I just feel so good, right? But the water, that was tough. In the pictures, the progress pictures. Dude, at the beginning, it was cringy. I hated it. Just taking off my shirt and just getting in front of the mirror and taking a picture was like the absolute worst part of my day. I just didn't like what I was seeing. And the second that it became about something deeper than just the physical and the discipline things was about, I would probably say maybe 30 days in. I don't remember the specific day, but after about 30 days in, the physical transformation was not there, but the way I saw myself was completely transformed. That's when it became deeper for me. It wasn't that I looked significantly skinnier. All of a sudden I had muscles like DG. Not yet. Okay. Not yet. But it wasn't that, but I saw myself and I loved myself completely different than I did the 30 days before. And that's when I realized I really want to finish this, because this is not just about the little things that you do every day. This is just about how you feel about yourself, and the trust and the respect and the commitment that you have towards yourself. I don't know. I've always found it easier, David, to keep my commitments to other people. And then the commitments to myself is like they're not as important. And the more, the more you let yourself down, the less you care. And it's like this loop and this cycle of like, well, I don't have to go work out. It doesn't matter. Like, and then things just, spiral down that way. And I think it all comes down to honoring the commitments that we make for ourselves, right? Like if I said I was going to do this, then I need to honor it as much as when I tell you I'm going to do something, right? When I tell you, yes, I'm going to go send that email, I make it a point when I get back home to go send that email because I told you and I don't want to let you down. And I didn't feel that way about myself. Now at the 75th day, I don't want to let myself down anymore. And that I think has been the biggest shift for me.
I mean, there's so much. That's rich, man. That's rich, because at the end of the day, letting ourselves down, keeping the commitments that we made to ourselves. And listen, I will raise my hand first to be the first to say, I get it. I don't know how many times, I'm going to do this, or I'm not going to do this, or I'm going to stop. It's the whole plethora of things. And that's a powerful thing. It's a powerful thing because what happens is you don't trust yourself. And then when you don't trust yourself, you don't respect yourself. And it's this, you described it. It's the same. Just think of how, relationships with others. If you and I collaborate together at a very, very high level, but if something happens and I repeatedly don't do what I say I'm going to do, and now you don't trust me or respect me, and what that does to how we collaborate together, we do it to ourselves. And that's how the relationship that we have with ourselves. I heard Nikki say something one time, and she heard it from someone. I don't know where she heard it, but it just rocked me, that yourself, you are the only person that you will have in your life from day one to the end. You're the only person. No one else will be alongside your journey except you for that entire journey. It's like, then you got to take care of that relationship. What surprised you the most about yourself, about the journey during this process?
I would probably say kind of along the same lines as what you were talking about, right? Like the people around you and that you surround yourself with, they're very important. But at the end of the day, David, my most difficult days, I was by myself. Like I was in Chicago a few weeks ago, took my girlfriend and her mom to her brother's bridal shower. It was a very long day. I got my morning workout, came to work, worked half a day, drove to Chicago, went to dinner, went to a get together, and I got back to that hotel and it was like 11 o'clock at night. I'd never been so exhausted in my life. And like as soon as I walked into the room and we checked into that hotel, I had a decision to make. Was I going to do it or was I not? And there was no one there. My friends weren't there. My family wasn't there. You weren't there, right? Jeanette was there. She was there with me and she was the only one that was there. And when I looked at her and I said, I need to go. And she was like, you're really going to go, huh? And I'm like, well, I mean, what's the alternative? I start over. I was like, what would that tell my my teams and the people that I coach that will ask me next week if I did that? I was like, you know what? It's just 45 minutes. I am going to go get it done. And Jeanette said, you know what? You go do that. I'm going to order some waters and I'm going to I'm going to get things settled in. Let me know if you need anything. And she encouraged me to go and I went down there. But those 45 minutes were the longest 45 minutes of my life. I was so tired and there was no one at that hotel gym. It was beautiful, but there was no one there, right? And I did it. And it was right before midnight when I got back to the room. And Jeanette was like, how do you feel? And I'm like, I feel good. I'm glad that I went and that I did that. Of course, the next day I had my best workout because I went for a run at the river walk. So that was so much fun. I spent like an hour down there just doing that. But it was those days when we went to that concert in Kentucky. It's those really long days where you have to decide, do you honor the commitment that you made, or was this good enough?
How is the Danny Z, my friend, my brother, how is Danny Z different today than you were? Today's day 75. How are you different than you were on day one?
Man, I trust myself. I respect myself. I love taking a picture now. I don't look exactly like I want to look. There's not this crazy transformation, but I like me. And I trust me. I can show up different in my trainings. I can show up different for the people that I love. I can show up different for the people that I train. I can show up for myself. And just like, I think the biggest difference is just knowing that I can, which is kind of like a double-edged sword there, because now, like, and here's what happened. 4 weeks ago, David, I quit smoking. Yesterday was actually week 4 of not smoking. So the biggest difference, I think, is being able to translate this newfound commitment and self-respect into the areas of my life that I've struggled with for years. Because if I respect myself enough to have a better meal, then what does it say about me when I go outside to have a cigarette, right? And how much am I respecting myself there, knowing that this is not something healthy to do? So I think it's just I have a newfound power that I can do just about anything I damn well decide I'm going to do. So that's the best part.
I love that. What's the biggest lesson, or is there one, the biggest lesson that you've learned as you wrap this journey up?
I don't care about habits anymore. I care about a new standard. Doing those things every single day, I'm probably not going to do 2 workouts every single day, but I've set a new standard for myself. So whether this is a habit that I do every single day, twice a day, 45 minutes or whatever else, what I do know is that I have set a new standard where I will probably not go more than a day or 2 without having a solid, strong workout for myself, because I know how I feel. And I know what that does for me, and I've already committed to that change, right? And so I think that is the biggest thing that I've learned, is that habits are not as important as the standard that you set for yourself.
That's so good. Danny, as we start wrapping this up, friends, I'm sitting here thinking as my friend Danny, shares this journey. If you're like me, let me say this. If you're like me, you're listening to this, and as Danny's talking about this awareness that he was becoming, and like, oh, I hated who I was looking at in the mirror. There's no chance that someone listening to this isn't feeling that same thing about an area in their life. We all, no matter how great we're doing in some area, we all have that thing in business, in our relationships, in our health and fitness, in our finance, all the whole life wheel, right? It's a challenge to keep it all going. But that thing that someone is becoming aware, and they're keenly aware. And as you're saying that, they have this thing that they're thinking about, and they're like, oh man, I need to do something. What would you say to that person that's in that awareness stage? What would your message be?
My message would be that message that my mom gave me. It probably months ago, even before I started 75 Hard, that just came really true. She said, Danny, you know the areas of your life, and you know exactly what you need to do. And she said, when you try, it's because you don't want to. Because you have to try. If you want to, you do it, and you know how to do it, and you know what you need to do. She said, if you want a healthy relationship with your spouse, you know exactly what you need to do. If you want to lose weight, you know exactly what you need to do. If you want to get strong and build muscles, you know exactly what you need to do. And that really hit me hard, because I was like, oh, she is so right. I do know. So I guess to that person, I would just say, you know exactly what you need to do. And when you stop trying and when you start wanting, I think that's when the change happens. And I would say, like, for me, my potential was sick of waiting on me. I think to that person that is struggling with something right now, I just want to say your potential is waiting, and it's getting sick of waiting for you. Go and just do it. Stop making excuses for yourself. You deserve significantly better than that area of your life that's holding you back. Because chances are all of us have areas in our life where we thrive, right? I find myself that my growth is in identifying those weaknesses and in making those better. So I think we all know what needs to be done. I think sometimes it's just scary to take action. So just do it, commit, honor that commitment with yourself. You deserve it. That's what I would say.
Friends, your potential is sick of waiting on you. And the future you deserves you to make the decision, decide, tell people, surround yourself with people who will elevate you, encourage you, love you, also hold you accountable and push you. And then just stay committed through the hard. Danny, thank you for taking time to share this journey and the ripple effect of others making the decision, deciding, and actually just realizing that their potential is sick of waiting on them. Thank you.
Thank you. You're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
So you just listened to this episode. Now, join us in being addicted to betterment. Please subscribe to the show, share with your friends, tag us, and please take a moment, leave a review. Yeah, we do want your stars, but we really want the feedback.